Not all genes are going to be able to be passed on to a child. The only way a child is going to get genes from a parent is if that mutation is specifically in an egg or a sperm cell. If that mutation is only in a muscle cell, it's never going to make it into the child, and it is known as a somatic mutation. If that mutation is in an egg or a sperm cell, it does have the potential to pass on. Just because it's present in a sperm or egg cell doesn't mean it's going to be passed on either. There are two major types of genes, dominant and recessive. If a gene is dominant and is present in one parent, no matter what the other parent has, if the dominant gene is passed to the child's going to have the disease. So that child could be homozygous dominant, meaning both parents gave the dominant mutation, or that child could also be heterozygous, meaning different chromosomes. So one from the parent was dominant and one from another parent was recessive. But because one copy was dominant, the child is still going to have the disease. As opposed to recessive genes, where it requires two copies from both parents to be passed on for the child to experience the disease. When talking about inheritance leading to a presence of a disease, that is the genotype leading to a phenotype. The genotype being the DNA that's present and the phenotype being what actually comes out in the human. Remembering the idea of alternative splicing, the same gene could lead to a lot of different proteins being made, so the same genotype does not mean the same phenotype is going to happen. To complicate things even further, all proteins don't replicate the same rate in every single cell or in every single human, so you cannot assume because it's happening in one cell in one human that it's going to be the same in anybody else. Just because one child inherits a dominant mutation, it does not mean that child is going to experience severe disease in comparison to another child with the exact same genotype. It depends on what proteins are actually being made to determine when and if symptoms will occur for that patient. We often separate germline from somatic mutations in that one a baby is born with and the other develops throughout life. But the complicating factor is that in utero, there's an environmental factor. So before the baby is actually born, but after the baby is created, there is an impact for an environmental factor to change what DNA the baby has. So that is not a germline mutation. It is a somatic mutation, but it occurs before the baby is born.